ready.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Well, hello there. This seems like a good time to announce that we've recorded a great episode with Alan Walsh of Agent Provocateur. Philip Hronik will be joining us after signing his 8-year, $58 million Michael Bublé noted contract. Alan is going to join me in the first half, and he's going to correct a lot of the media discourse. The media! A lot of the discourse around this contract extension, because a lot of it was just apparently patently false. And he's like, I don't know what it is with you media people. And I said, you know what, Alan? You're probably right. And then Phil
lumped us in, did he?
Yeah. No, and then Phil joins us afterwards, which is really, really great. Now, he talks about his dog. He talks about his life in Vancouver and why he ultimately wanted to stay. Because as Alan points out, he absolutely could have got more money. Absolutely.
Yeah, on the free open market, I think for sure. Yeah. That's usually how it works.
But there were reasons.
You take a bit of a discount.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the recipe, isn't it? Like, that's all you need. Good defenseman shoots right.
So that'll be out
here's 8
this weekend. But in the meantime, Jesse wants to start the show with something that he says we'll find extraordinarily depressing, Steve, on a Friday. Depression to kick us off on a Friday because the Boston Celtics are celebrating today. They're having their parade for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. They won the NBA championship.
They did.
And you know what? No, how could you not be happy, Jesse? Finally, something goes Boston's way.
Well, it's actually a really big deal in Boston because they broke their second longest drought ever for a championship.
Oh.
They were in the midst of their second longest drought. From 1986 to 2002, they didn't win a championship. This is from since they've had all 4 major pro sports teams.
Right.
86 to 2000, that's 5,719 days. That's the longest drought. And this drought of 1,962 days, which was all the way from 2019 until 2024, was their second longest drought without a championship. 5 years, 4 months and 14 days.
Wow.
And there's this
That is technically the Toronto drought, but holy shit.
Yeah, no.
It is.
But you got to think before that, it's 1992 to 2019 or 93 to 2019, which is a little egregious. And there's this kid here who goes viral every time the Boston area wins a championship because he is 22 years old.
That's a taxpayer.
And when he was 11, he had already seen 8 parades, and he went viral 10 years ago for his sign at the Boston parade where he had already won 8 championships and he had 8 parades and he was 11 years old. And now he is 22, 10 years later, and that number of parades has gone from 8 to 13. His 13th championship after only 22 years on this earth.
That hurts. Oh God, I would love to say something like profound.
For anybody listening to, just so I can count them for you, this kid who's been on this earth for 22 years, lives in Boston, has 4 Red Sox titles, 6 Patriots titles, 2 Celtics titles, and 1 Bruins title. That is an unbelievable way to start your first 22 years on this earth.
Yeah, I just want to say that for everybody that's like, nah, the Leafs should run it back. Stop. Stop.
The Leafs
are
far and away the best one.
Right now, yeah.
Right now. We'll see for how long. We'll see.
In men's sports, they're far and away their best shot.
Yes.
At a championship.
Well, what about the Argos?
When did the Argos last win?
Kiss my ass is what about the Argos?
The Argos won in 2 years ago.
Yeah, so our championship drought was 2
years ago, right?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
They won the Grey Cup.
Yeah. So our championship drought is 600 days ago.
Yeah.
So F you, Boston. We've got more. Our streak was better.
Does that count?
Okay, but for everyone who sees my face, you know what I mean?
I don't even know if they sold that game out, honestly. Like if they sold that
The Grey Cup that year?
Yeah, I'm sure they sold out the Grey Cup, but I don't think they sold out the East Final.
That was the East Final. I don't know.
You see?
I don't know if the Argos were the home team for the East Final that year, 2 years ago.
Oh,
I don't remember CFL that well, but
man, that's so weird, man. Why not?
Yeah.
you know what's funny?
It's one of the major ones, right?
I don't think it counts.
Go on, Jesse.
I'm gonna say it doesn't count because they didn't have a parade. They don't have parades when the Argos win. They have rallies. Like they'll have the rally down at the exhibition grounds here in Toronto, and they don't have a parade. So
Right.
it doesn't count.
Jesse Blake just said the Calder Cup means nothing because
Do
the
you think it counts?
The Marlies were in a parking lot. It counted to me, damn it. It counted that night when we were all there in the building for Game 7 against the Texas Stars. Get racked, Mike McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. That was I will never forget that.
Oh yeah.
But to say it's
goals
one of
in
the
that
major
game?
sports, it's not.
2 goals in that game. Mason Marchment. Yeah,
Against Texas.
Get
When
rid of him. They messed with Texas and they won.
That's right. That's right.
Congrats to Boston.
Now, listen, I know that we've got a Stanley
up.
Cup final potential game tonight. I know that we could have a Stanley Cup awarded tonight. I know Steve's got his big stream tonight. But I kind of want to talk about the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about Barclay Goodrow, guys. That's what I really want to talk about. I've been dying to talk about this. The drama.
Juicy.
It is juicy. So here's the deal. And this is so Barclay Goodrow had a 15-team no trade list. Okay.
Yes.
The San Jose Sharks were on it. From what I understand, there
we know that?
there are rumors that the Rangers said, "Hey, would you waive to go to San Jose?" And he said no. And so the Rangers said, "Cool, we'll put you on waivers." Now, what I assumed, I wasn't sure. I never checked this because maybe I should have checked this, but I assumed it was like a buyout. I'm like, oh, they put him on waivers for buyout. Like,
You
right?
dumbass.
Yeah, dumbass, stupid. No, because the finals have to be over for that, right?
Yes.
So they put him on waivers, and who claims him? Chris Drury's old buddy, Mike Greer of the San Jose Sharks. And Barclay Goodrow is said to be not happy about this. He's taking his 3.641,667 cap hit. That is a really aggressive number. Through 26-27 to the San Jose Sharks, a team where he started his career. Barclay Goodrow at one point was worth a first-round pick to the Tampa Bay Lightning, has won a couple cups, got real close this year with the Rangers. I love this story. Because
I love this. Yeah.
This is a team.
Go ahead.
This is a team doing vicious by the player. Leafs
Yes.
always do. Oh, let's do right by the. Let's give him away for nothing.
Yep.
Let's do right by the player. The Rangers are like, you know what? Let's do right by the team. And this guy who I guess he had a really good playoff.
Yeah, but
Like 4 goals.
the number is so much more than he should be getting paid based on his regular season production.
Agreed. And everybody said that when he signed. When he signed that contract, everybody's like, New York's going to regret it. And they're like, no, we won't. And here we are. They're not regretting it. They're not regretting it at all.
I got a problem with the logic.
What's the problem?
They got a problem with the logic. So, Rangers fans, fascinating seeing you here. On account of Barclay Goodrow appears to be like, this is the anti-Mitch Marner argument.
Okay.
You have a player who does nothing in the regular season. Diabolically bad. 4 goals, 12 points in 80 games. How don't you even fluke into sending something 10 feet wide of the net and it goes off an ankle or something? And like, how don't you hit 20 points that way? But then the playoffs come. 6 goals. He has more goals in the playoffs than he did in the regular season. 8 points in 16 games. He's a half a point a game player in these playoffs. So why do you get rid of this player? Well, you do it to save cap space so that you could spend that cap space on something else. Okay. Was Barclay Goodrow's cap hit holding the Rangers back? Well, no, because they won the President's Trophy. you can't do better than the President's Trophy in the regular season. There's 32 teams and you can't do better than first, and they were first. Okay. But then when the playoffs come, he can't be a drag on the team. Okay, so he very wasn't a drag on the team, actually. He scored an overtime winner for that team. He had 6 goals. He had half a point a game. So where's the part where the Rangers get obviously better here? Do you know what I mean? I understand why they did it. I understand the logic. I'm just trying to throw another way of thinking about it out there.
I don't agree with your first point where you say when the Rangers, like, you take away Barclay Goodrow's contract. I think that makes you better. I think the 3.6 that you're going to be able to spend on somebody else makes you better, because you can't rely on Goodrow going from 4 goals to 6 goals every playoffs. I don't think that's a reasonable way to run your business.
And let me back up your point, Jesse.
Yeah.
He played 16 playoff games with the Rangers in the previous 2 years and had 1 goal.
Yeah.
1 goal and 1 assist.
The Larry Brooks is the one who broke this story about. He talked to multiple people, and San Jose was on that list. And Drury called up his friend who wanted Goodrow.
You
and
need
was like,
more
hey,
bodies. I have one.
I'm going to do this for you and put them on waivers. You could just take them. And it's the exact same thing that happened with Ryan McDonough and the Tampa Bay Lightning, who should be looked at as one of the premier franchises in the National Hockey League. And if we're going to emulate anybody, it should be Tampa. They won back-to-back cups, went to a third. And they told Ryan McDonough, if you don't accept this trade to Nashville, where he had a no movement, that was on his list of teams where you can't get traded to, he said, if you don't accept this team, we're going to put you on waivers and we're going to move you. And he said, okay, I'd rather take this trade, do right by the guys. Know where I'm going and just agree to this trade to Nashville instead of going on waivers and doing it that way. So this is a thing that championship teams do. And the Rangers, and they're looking at it as cold-blooded as they can. We want this $3.6 million to go get X player, X players, and that will hopefully push us over the hump, because we saw what happened against Florida. Like, we know the Rangers are one step behind. They might be the 3rd best team. They might be the 4th, but they're not the best right now. That we saw they couldn't compete against Florida. So you might as well make this cold-blooded move, spend that 3.6 on getting marginally better for next season.
The closest matches. Sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I was going to say the league made such a mistake letting the Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
they made a huge mistake, because they went from the villains to just savvy businessmen. Like, that's just how you run a business.
Yep,
that's it. Like, the narrative changed to, oh, they're right. They're just right. Like, look at the reaction. Like, people, I think a couple of years ago would have been up in arms about what the Rangers just did to Barclay Goodrow. Like, you understand why they did it from a performance standpoint, but, like, you guys are assholes. Like, you're kind of pieces of crap for doing this. But as Vegas just won the cup last year, you know what? Good for Drury, smart guy. That's how the narrative has changed.
Do you think other GMs are happy about that narrative now that they can just be like, oh, yeah, we can just be assholes to these players, and our excuse is that the team who does this the most won. So, like, we got free reign now. I assume GMs are happy about this. That's a great point.
Yes, absolutely. Their jobs have gotten easier to do. Vegas is repaying the league. Hey, remember that time we patted you politely, gently on your bottom at the expansion draft and just took all your good players? Okay, well, the way we're repaying you is, yes, we get the Stanley Cup, but for the next 10 years, because it's a slow-moving, slow-thinking copycat league, everyone's just going to think, hey, you're able to treat everyone like complete shit as long as you win.
Now,
I think Steve nailed it.
Like, yeah.
So, but isn't that pro sports? And let me ask you this.
Yes,
is it treating somebody like shit when they broke no rules? They weren't dishonest. They didn't lie. The reason people got on Vegas was because they lied. They lied to several players. about where they were in the organizational charts and where they were going to be come season start. That's what happened with Vegas. People forget that.
But they also didn't break rules.
Marc-Andre
That's
Fleury.
not breaking a rule.
Yeah, they didn't break rules either.
Well,
right?
I mean, lying is where did the Rangers lie?
No, neither
Lying.
team did anything against the rules.
So I don't know if this is asshole behavior or if this is just business. And
I think it's both.
And I look at this.
both.
I look at this.
Very
and I-
much
You know
both.
what? I would look at this. Here are the closest contract comparables to Barclay Goodrow. Scott Laughton, 27 years old. It's an 85.2% match contract-wise. Who'd you rather have? Scott Laughton with his 39 points or Barclay Goodrow with his 12? Are you taking a guess? An asteroid.
Dude,
Adam Lowry.
during the regular season, I would have said Laughton, and then I watched Goodrow in the playoffs, and he was good. I
Well,
watched him be good in the playoffs.
Adam
I
Lowry.
enjoyed watching him.
Adam Lowry,
Yeah.
Winnipeg Jets, captain. Would you rather have?
What?
Isn't that? He's the captain, eh?
Well, you'd
Yeah.
rather have Adam Lowry, right?
You'd rather have Adam Lowry.
Yeah.
Boone Jenner,
Probably.
captain of the Blue Jackets. Contract comparable. Within 80 percentile contract comparable.
What are these comparables trying to illustrate?
The illustration is that the Rangers are committed.
Yeah.
Steve asked at the beginning of this conversation, how does this make them better? When the Rangers looked at this, they said, here are the comparables. Here's what we should be getting out of our $3.5 million. Are we getting it? I look at a guy like, so they use Scott Laughton. They use Nick Paul, 46 points in 82 games. They use David Kampf as a comparable. He's a 75% comparable. David Kampf had at least 8 goals this year, 8 goals and 11 assists. You know, the point here, I know it's a lot more than I thought.
Rocket.
Just an absolute Rocket Richard
Holy.
candidate there. My point here is the Rangers are going, listen, we got to squeeze everything out of every dollar because, yes, we got eliminated by the Panthers this year, but we will be back next year. And our window's right now, and that $3.5 million could be so much better spent. We could get 30 or 40 more points out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And like not actual like standings points, but whatever.
Or a defender.
Or a defender or whatever it is they wanted, wherever they think they need to go. They score a lot. So yeah, probably a defender. My point is, I think that if you want to win, you kind of have to operate like this. It is, you could say, oh, well, and for the other side, Steve, I think we were talking offline yesterday about the fact that why would San Jose move Goodrow? Would they move on from him? And I ask you, who is a San Jose Shark?
What do you mean?
Well, who is currently a San Jose Shark?
Oh, like no one?
Right. Here's a guy who's won multiple.
Erik Karlsson's contract.
Erik Karlsson retained.
Yeah.
Great leader. Fantastic in the dressing room. Bit of a liability on defense.
The rights to Macklin Celebrini.
The future rights to Macklin Celebrini. That's right. Who did they draft last year again? I always forget San Jose's pick. I keep forgetting.
Was that Will Smith?
Yeah, it was Will Smith. There you go. Yeah. And then you've got
No.
You got Michael Granlund, who you got 2 more years of Marc-Edouard Vlasic, Mario Ferrero, who might get traded, Jan Ruda. Like, these are not Nico Sturm, Klim Kostin, Fabian Zetterlund. Young guys, but there isn't much on this team. And I think if you're San Jose, this is exactly the kind of guy you want in. And I think Mike Greer has got to sit down with Barclay Goodrow and say, listen, I know we were on your no trade list. I know you don't want to be here, but you signed a contract that allowed you to be waived. And you were waived, and we claimed you.
That's rough.
And it's got to be similar to what the Billy Bean, David Justice conversation was. It's not that the Rangers are paying any retention here, but that the Yankees are paying you $3.5 million to not play for them.
Is that a reference to Moneyball?
That's a reference to Moneyball, so Steve would get it.
Hey, let's go! Let's go!
My point is, Barclay Goodrow's got to be. I know he wants to play on a winner. And I understand that. Of course, why wouldn't you want to play on a winner? But you get to come to California, help this team move along, and probably give yourself an opportunity at a next contract. Because if he continued to play the way that he was in New York, would that next contract have happened? That's a serious question.
No, it's not. He has 2 Stanley Cups, and he's coming off a good playoff run. There's zero chance no one in the NHL would have picked him up.
Well,
Zero chance.
No, I'm talking about at the end of this contract in 26-27. That's what I'm talking about. This gives you the opportunity.
That's a lot of runway.
more ice time, more opportunity to make a great. And maybe they say this: hey, we'll trade you not this deadline, but the next one if we're not in the playoffs.
No.
They need more.
Hey, if I'm him, I'm pissed. Like,
let's think about this like Leaf fans. Would Goodrow have been waived? Would the Rangers be playing tonight potentially if Goodrow didn't have more goals than Artemi Panarin, 5, and Mika Zibanejad with 3?
It's possible.
Like, again, this is why Goodrow is so fascinating to me, because it's a player who is miserable in the regular season, but he's played 97 career Stanley Cup playoff games. I'm sorry, there's something there. Like, I understand he typically doesn't score much, and even this year as a playoff performance, that's an anomaly. But he went to the conference final with the Sharks in 2019, Cup final in 20 with the Lightning, 1, Cup final with the Lightning in 21, 1, went to the Eastern Conference final this year with the Rangers.
So then
he's been to most of the Final Fours.
That's not worth the $3.6 million.
It's not.
Like
it's not
for that type of player. I want to pay like 1.5.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and here's the thing:
you're on drugs.
You retained 50% and you trade him at the deadline.
That track record. You think that a player with that track record is signing for anything less to an exorbitant amount of money?
Now, because you get paid based on your regular season stats. Like, we know that. Like, Steve, how much did Mitch Marner get paid? You know, you get paid on your
too much. Too much.
You get paid on your regular season output, and he's outputting like $1 million worth of player.
You could make the argument too that if you're Mike Grier, you go to him. It doesn't even have to be next trade deadline. It could be this coming trade deadline. Listen, man, we're going to try to move you. We got you because we need bodies on the team, and then come trade deadline, they're going to be playoff teams sniffing around because of your great playoff performance, because of your 6 goals, that are going to want to take you, and we will retain half on that and move you. So, and then it's a good asset move for Mike Grier.
You know, Goodrow's the 3rd highest paid forward on the Sharks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was second.
That's my point. Like, who plays for the Sharks? Somebody's got to dress for this team. And like, they're trying to get Macklin Celebrini into the lineup this year. They don't want him going back to college. That's the work.
So the Sharks have enough cap space. Cap space. They got to get to the floor. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there will be enough players willing to play there that they don't need to abduct them. And like, I know that's not. I mean, he got claimed off waivers.
A little bit.
He got claimed off waivers.
Yeah, he got abducted.
He got abducted.
Is that what we should call it from now on? Just abducted.
Yeah, I think we got to title the show.
Abduction.
Yeah, abducted.
No, do not. No. Don't do that. No, but like, okay.
Where's your mind going?
Yeah, I was thinking like alien abduction. Like a little flying saucer comes over and there's like a laser that comes out and pulls him up.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the words, Steve?
Yeah.
Why are you so against
because
the word
people
abduction?
are going to think of the other kind of abduction that's not like from The Simpsons.
Well, that's their fault. I can't. That's their fault.
I didn't know abducted was a bad word. I'm learning about
bad.
today.
Don't say it. Stop.
Fine. Call it bzzzt. Call it BZZT.
Like, they beam you up and you're there with Kratos.
Beam me up. Barclay. There you go.
Whoa.
Hey.
There you go.
Beam me up, Barclay.
Like, beam me up, Barclay. Like, I know they need warm bodies. And I understand, like, the organization's already familiar with this player.
Yep.
They want him to they want his winning pedigree to rub off on the young guys. I understand that. I'm still not 1,000,000% sure that's where this player is going to play game 1 next year. Like, I could see him playing there for a bit and getting traded, which I think you suggested, Adam. You know what this reeks of to me? And I asked around. Some people thought this was smart. One person refuted it. This strikes me as the sort of deal where the Sharks could retain on Barclay Goodrow and send him to the Tampa Bay Lightning for a sweetener.
I don't think they
did
can
this with Ryan
retain.
McDonough.
I don't think they can retain. They have 3 contracts retained right now.
Yeah, so they can't.
Oh, do they have 3? Okay,
Brent
so here
Burns,
was-
Erik Karlsson, and Thomas Hertl are all
Okay,
being
good to
retained
know.
right now. So I don't. That's not possible.
So here's my backup idea to that.
Okay.
Oh no,
Um,
he's staying in San Jose this year. Next year he can get traded. I'm
Backup
convinced.
idea. Backup idea. I know a guy who's a warm body. If you want a warm body so bad, Barclay Goodrow, once again to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Tanner Jeannot and a sweetener tied to him. Yes, the Lightning continued to dig the Tanner Jeannot hole. But if you're getting the band back together, why not do the damn thing properly? If you're gonna sink money into a depth forward who's making too much, why not do it with a guy who you know you can win with instead of Tanner Jeannot?
Well, Tanner Jeannot would be an admission by the general manager that he made a huge mistake. And as we know in hockey,
He doesn't need to admit it. We all know.
right, but he could still make the argument that Tanner Jeannot is on his way up. Tanner Jeannot
No.
is much younger. He's 27. There could be more there. He also makes $1 million less than Barclay Goodrow.
Yeah.
So you are giving age, you're giving 4 or 5 years there, and you're giving $1 million for a team that's already cash strapped.
I think Barclay Goodrow is going to play in San Jose
He's
for a
staying in
little
San
bit.
Jose, man. They need this
Yeah.
guy. They
I'm
need
trying
this
to
guy.
rescue this player
Hey, he could you know
from
what?
the aliens.
Listen, I'm telling you, Steve,
trying.
this could extend his career. This really could. And I think part of this is if he goes there and he plays really, really well, they're going to be teams that go, man, he's done a lot with a bad team, a bad team. And look at how he's mentored the young guys. And hey, he was pretty great in the Rangers playoff run 18 months ago. Boy, let's grab him. 2nd round pick. There you go.
I think the last part that just needs to be covered a little bit is the side of Barclay Goodrow and Mike Greer, in that Goodrow doesn't want to be there. We know he doesn't want to be in San Jose.
Kind of important.
If you're Mike Greer and you're acquiring a person who doesn't want to work for you, how do you balance that? And is there any chance Goodrow's just unhappy there? Maybe he threatens to sit out unless he gets moved again or something like that. And where's the I don't know, the feelings aspect of it, of forcing somebody who doesn't want to be in your organization and bringing them there against their will?
If he sits, they don't pay him. That's what happens. So if he sits, they don't pay him. He can threaten to sit out, but I think it's very likely that there's very few teams that would take this contract. And as we've already pointed out, we don't believe that the San Jose Sharks can retain anyway.
No, but
So if
just as a manager, do you want somebody underneath you who doesn't want to be at your organization?
I think that you're counting on him understanding after a while that he's coming in to play a role, and that you sit down with him, you go, listen, I understand that you just went to the Eastern Conference Finals and we're a few years away from that. We want you here for these reasons, and we will attempt to move you to a playoff caliber team at the soonest possible venture, but we need you here for these reasons. And I think it goes back to, I think you need to sit down with him and say, listen, not that he's a bad player, but how long do you think that you have scoring 4 goals in the regular season? And okay, so fine. Maybe he'd get a next contract at $750,000. Like, do you want your next contract to be $1.5 million, or do you want it to be $750,000 or a PTO? That's the other thing. This is an opportunity for Barclay to say, hey, listen, I actually kick ass in the regular season when you let me. Let me do it. Show me that. Give me the time.
I'm trying to look at last year's Sharks roster, and I'm going, all right, whose career was extended by playing on the Sharks?
Well, we've seen that happen with the Leafs. Like, Daniel Winnick was dealt twice for 2nd round picks.
Yeah, like, okay,
PA Parenteau.
Granlund, you can make the argument.
Mm-hmm.
Zetterlund is interesting because he's 24, and he
has a
got an
great
opportunity.
Great name.
He does. He does have a great name.
10 out of 10 name.
Yeah.
Fabian, I was thinking Zetterlund, but like they're both. He won the lottery.
It's satisfying to say,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
It really is. Underratedly, like Philip Zadina, Mario Ferrero. Jan Ruda is fun. Luke Cunning's fun. Fun name team.
You're telling me Mark Edward Vlasic is not cool?
That's a good name.
That's a fun name.
Yeah,
Great name.
yeah.
Mackenzie Blackwood. Ooh.
Yeah.
You
San
said
Jose
names.
might be one of the all-time great name teams.
They do.
Clem Costin.
Oh, good
Right?
one. Yeah.
Hey, question. You've got Ben.
No, I'm not done. No, I'm kidding.
Is
yeah.
Logan Couture going to play again?
Yes.
I hope so.
So he is the highest paid San Jose Shark at $8 million.
Yeah, that's why I said Goodrow's the third highest paid forward.
Is Vitek Vanacek going to play next year? I know he finished the season on the IR.
Vanacek? Yeah,
I think
Vanacek's
so.
still in the league. Yeah.
Jesse,
Yeah.
Jesse, you missed the most important Shark.
Mhm.
Kevin LeBanc.
Oh,
Stanley Cup champion.
That's right.
With the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Video game Stanley Cup champion.
we don't have to put a asterisk on it. Just Stanley Cup champion, Kevin LeBanc.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
So, sorry, the reason I said that, so like Granlund had his career extended. Zetterlund doesn't count because he was a prospect. Duclair doesn't count because he was already good in Florida, was bad in San Jose, then went to Tampa, and we all went, oh, he's good again.
Yep.
Hoffman has not had his career extended at all. Zadina doesn't count. He's 23 and also had
He had 13
that
goals.
many points. Yeah, 13 goals, 23 points. Fart. Who had their career extended by these guys? Mackenzie Blackwood, I guess, counts. Ew. Like, I just don't know if it's going to work out.
Yeah, but
the
I
way
don't
you
think
it is.
Listen, like if Barclay Goodrow gets 10 goals, it's not about the goals that Barclay Goodrow get, but 4 is too low, right? If he gets 10, you're like, well, shit. What else did
No.
he do?
This player
Absolutely.
needs to be playing in the playoffs every year to prove his effectiveness, and he won't be doing that in San Jose.
I don't know how much longer than he's got then. And that's the thing, right? It comes down
Not
to this.
that much longer. He's 31.
He's got like this contract that he's on is 3 more years. Like it's
His
not
contract-
ending soon.
Is actually, like, I know he's getting paid too much, but it ends right around when he's going to stop being useful,
Yeah.
like in this league. You know what I mean?
This is my point. Prove that you can. Prove that you can. Put together the track record. That's what you have to if you're asking what Mike Greer is saying to him, that's the conversation you need to be having.
I think a smart team is going to figure out a smart contending team is going to figure out how to get this player.
$3.6 million? I don't know, man.
Guaranteed.
I don't
They're gonna
know.
figure it out.
That is
There's something's going to have to go out the door, but they'll figure it out.
Okay. $3.6 million, guys. I don't know. Moving on to
Hey,
hey.
listen, you got to hit the floor. You need warm bodies and you need more money. 3.6 isn't enough. You call the Montreal Canadiens and you get Josh Anderson over there right now for Barclay Goodrow.
Yeah, San Jose is actually, they are under the cap significantly.
Like significantly.
Like 13 million bucks. So we got something fun to talk about today. 888 Casino is home to over 1,000 slots, table games. It's one of the best online casinos in Ontario. It also offers extensive odds in the NHL, MLB, NFL, CFL, and we're helping spread the word about 888 in Ontario with the launch of the 888 Canada YouTube channel, which Steve and Jesse are stars of. Look at that. Look at you, big. And Steve got a pie to the face. Can you explain this, Jesse? Why did you get to be the one?
Jesse's always pieing me in the face.
Yeah, it's a thing that's happened a couple of times now. But like, yeah, so they invited us down and we're playing some trivia with Ashley Docking. It's myself, Steve Dangle, and Ashley, and we're playing Leafs trivia and a couple like different Toronto sports trivia as well. And you can see it all on their YouTube channel. And Steve was the loser. So there was I think this was a part of the casino game though, because we also play like slots and stuff. You just watch us play slots. It's so much fun. And Steve, it was first place, gets to be the person who delivers the punishment. Second place just gets to sit and watch and laugh. And then last place gets the punishment. And this time we spun the wheel. The punishment was pie in the face. And I was the winner. I had the most money at the end of our slots game. And Steve was the loser, who was, I think, in the negatives once you finished your slots. But so I got to pie him in the face, and it was awesome.
There's actually a really great clip too of you guys. I guess Steve misread one of the questions.
Yeah.
I
What-
did that twice.
What happened?
Active leader in what, goals? or
Games
something?
played. Games played.
Oh, games played, was it?
And he put George Armstrong.
But the key to the question was active. Like it said active. And Steve was like, oh, George Armstrong. But like, I don't think he's active.
No.
Like active as in breathing or
Active as in playing for the Leafs. So not a great performance from Steve in our first run through at 888 Canada and their fun trivia and games that we got playing on the YouTube channel. But you'll step it up next time we're there.
right, Steve?
Yeah, I would like to pie Jesse. And actually, fun little side story.
Yeah.
So I had a shirt that was just covered in milk product.
That's the shirt.
So for the long drive home, I took it off and I put it in my trunk in this plastic bag. But here's the thing, I forgot about it for a couple days.
No.
So I just had this
No.
whipped cream shirt festering in my trunk for a couple days.
That's so gross.
Yeah, that was great.
Hey, listen, the link is in the description, so head to 888 Canada's YouTube channel, subscribe, and never miss the new videos. You never know when Steve might leave a dirty shirt in his trunk.
That's classic, Steve.
Classic Steve.
I'm not even like that. Doesn't even surprise me.
No, it
like,
shouldn't.
I would have predicted you would have done that.
Also, don't forget to check out 888 Casino or 888 Sport for great user experiences and a massive collection of slots, casino games, and sports betting markets. Check it out. Another one I wanted to talk about before we get to tonight's game, because again, by the time this comes out, tonight's game will almost have started. Nick Kyprios reported in the Toronto Star that Toronto was very much in on the Jake Markstrom sweepstakes. And I know Steve's got no opinions on this, and the Calgary Flames netminder, who had a full no trade clause, would have waived it for a move to the Leafs.
Damn, that's crazy.
Who reported this?
Nick Kyprios.
Is this in his column called Damn That's Crazy? Because, like, guys, okay, I will say this. I think every rumor about the Leafs trading with the Flames, I don't necessarily think it's made up. I would never accuse Kyprios of making something up. He's very well connected. I will say this, not knowing exactly what's going on, every moment, every single second Brad Treliving spends on the phone with Craig Conroy or anyone else associated with the Calgary Flames is a profound waste of time.
Why?
They're not trading with you. They're not. Was Zadorov a good Leaf? He wasn't on the ice for a single goal against.
Okay.
Same goes for noted Leaf Chris Tanev.
Why?
Oh, he never had a goal against.
Why?
Adam.
No, but why? Why is it a waste
Because he's
of time?
a great defenseman is why.
Why, Steve, is it a waste of time?
Because they're not trading with you, Bradley.
Why?
Brad! Because you quit.
The owner
They
hates
don't
him.
like you, Brad.
The owner hates him. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, but I have a good working relationship with Craig. Who gives a damn about Craig?
Yeah, no.
Craig doesn't make the decisions. He's the GM of the Calgary Flames. You know how powerless that position is, Brad. What are you doing? Every waking moment you spend on the phone with this hockey team, you're wasting the time and resources of the Toronto Maple Leafs who you work for now. Stop calling them. Stop it. Stop it. I'll withdraw this the second the Leafs actually make a deal with the Flames, if that ever friggin' happens. But we're 3 for 3 now in terms of you get Zadorov. Oh, you don't get Zadorov. You get Tanev. Oh, you don't get Tanev. You get Markstrom. Oh, you don't get Markstrom. Fart, boo, hiss, and piss. I do not listen to rumors about the Leafs making deals with the Calgary Flames. Nope. Done. Over.
Well, I'm not really
Banned.
sure. I'm not really sure what the Calgary Flames, unless they're moving Mackenzie Weegar or Rasmus Anderson, I'm not sure what the Calgary Flames and Toronto Maple Leafs have to call each other about anymore anyways. Zadorov
They
and
can
Tanev made a
move
lot
their
of sense.
bowels into their hat is what they can do. They can move their bowels into their hat. I'm done talking about them making deals with the Leafs.
Okay.
It's over.
Okay. If if
Yeah.
the Markstrom deal had happened. And, I think what did Calgary retain? 35%?
About that.
So that's what?
Much.
$1 million or $2 million or something like that. My question at that number,
1.875.
1.875, and the Leafs probably wouldn't have been willing to part with their first round pick for this, the way the Devils were, right? Like I don't think the Leafs would have done that. So
Yeah, fair enough.
so then they would have been like, don't retain, we'll just take the whole salary, okay? And it would have been hilarious to get an entire season of Steve watching Jake Markstrom up close leave the net to play the puck. It would have been incredible. Like, you don't understand how we were robbed here. Don
No
Maloney,
vocal
Dave
cords.
Nonis, Craig Conroy, you should be ashamed of yourselves. The entertainment value would have been amazing. And by the way, I'm less about the owner now. I'm more about the Don Maloney and Brad Treliving. But anyway, the point I want to make here is that
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I do think it says something, if you're reading the tea leaves a little bit, about where the Leafs' heads are at. I think that there is major salary leaving the books. $6 million coming in. Because I don't think, guys,
This is a
does
very
it make
good
sense
point.
for you in your mind that the Leafs would give up a first round pick now? I don't think so. Even for
No.
2025. Because you're saving that if you have a good year for the trade deadline, if you even use it then, right?
Well, forget the value of the asset, Adam. You're doing basic math here. Like, they bring in a $6 million goaltender. How the hell you afford the rest of the team?
Exactly. And I know they've got some of the most money to spend. It's like 18 million or something, but that goes pretty quick, right?
Nah. It's a lazy narrative that's out there that the Leafs have all this money to spend. It's lazy.
I don't know how much they were actually in on it. I don't know how much we can look into this.
But the fact that they were considering it to me seems
I
like
think
they
they
think they're confident they're going to move
they
some
consider
salary.
everything. I think they've looked into
Yes.
I don't think there's a thing out there that Brad Treliving doesn't consider. I think he's in on everything. It just seems like based on how long he's been here and his tenure in Calgary, whenever there's a player out there, they look into it. And I think that's the right way to be a GM. You do your due diligence and you say, hey, how would this work? How would this work? So I don't know when you hear, hey, Toronto was in on X player, if there's a lot to look into because they're in on every player. So like, what's the takeaway?
A couple points there. The reason the Calgary Flames keep ending up in rumors with the Toronto Maple Leafs is because Dave Nonis never deleted any of the numbers in his phone.
Mhm. That's true.
That dude, he's a leaky general manager, leaky assistant GM. He leaked everything when he was with Toronto. He's doing it again in Calgary. It's easy. It's just easy. And it's a shame that everyone's making it so easy. The other thing is, okay, so I'm on Cap Friendly right now, and I'm going to enjoy my final moments being able to say that. 18.8. So let's say 19 million. Let's round up. The Leafs have 19 million to spend. Well, let's look at their free agents coming off the books so that we have an idea of what we need to replace. So with $19 million, you got to replace Ilya Samsonov's coming off the books. Okay, so starting goaltender or tandem goaltender. So you're looking at bringing in at least that amount of money
Laurent
that's coming
Brossoit.
off the books. Right. Laurent Brossoit is going to cost not much different than what Samsonov cost. Which
Yeah,
was
about 3
3.5.
million, right?
Yeah. Samsonov, I think, got bumped up to 3.5 after making 3. Ilya Lyubushkin. Oh, okay. So just D partner for your top D man. Cool. Giordano, okay, replacement level. Joel Edmondson, replacement level. TJ Brody spent most of the season as top pair defense partner for Morgan Riley. Okay. Timothy Liljegren, so there's another depth defenseman. Max Domi and Tyler Bertuzzi. So there's 2/3 of your top line heading into the playoffs. Okay. Nick Robertson, okay, replacement level-ish. Noah Gregor, replacement level, definitely. Connor Dewar, replacement level. But you're talking starting or tandem goalie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to go with top liners, okay, fine. 2 top 6 forwards, and a significant chunk of your D-core. That 19 million is going to evaporate like that.
Absolutely. So,
So-
unless you want to roll
they
the
have
same
so
team.
much to play with. Bullshit.
Unless you want to roll the same team, right?
Well, you can't. I don't think people are understanding Like everyone's got the 11.5 that Nylander's going to make next year. People are not appreciating that it's up from 6.9. 6.9. He's going to make $4.6 million more than he did last year. So, and then Matthews is going to make 13.25 up from 11.6.
Yeah, so there's your cap.
If you run it back,
your cap's gone. The new cap is gone.
The new cap is gone and then some. So the cap is going up, but the money you're putting into the core four is going up more than that. So you run the team back. You are committing to having a worse team than last year. Let's not forget how many guys were on LTIR in order to even make that bullshit work last year. They can't do this again. They can't do this again. And I earnestly don't think they want to. I think most of what's out there about Marner is bullshit, and he will be traded.
Yeah, there was a report from Biz about the Leafs working on an extension. Don't believe it. Not that I don't. Not that I'm saying that Biz's source is wrong, because I have no idea what his source is. But I will say this: opposite to everything we've heard. Opposite.
I mean, take it from me. Sources can burn, guys.
Oh yeah. Why? What happened? Hey, also on the Leafs, just since we're here, Mark Giordano says he will be back playing.
Good for him.
Is Mark Giordano a Leaf next year?
If he's willing to sign league minimum, like less than he was already making, yeah. Like it's this, and I know a lot of people aren't going to love that. The season is 82 games long.
Is that a lot of games?
Like, it's so many games. Like, yeah, he's 41, and I don't expect him to be very good. I don't think any team is signing him to be an 82 game player, and I don't think it makes sense for him at all to play all 82 games. He's still a fighter. He still works very hard. I think he's still got some useful hockey in him. It's just going to have to be with the understanding, listen, Mark, you're going to be in the press box a lot of nights. You're going to make league minimum, and that's the beginning, middle, and end of it. I don't know if it's going to be in Toronto. I wouldn't mind him returning to Toronto as like an 8th option.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm saying that very respectfully. You've been the oldest active player in the NHL for 2 years now. This would be 3. 8th, I think, is generous.
He'll be 41 when the contract ends.
Yeah. And I mean, well, the Sharks need warm bodies. It's
well,
$4 million per. Let's go.
And
multi-year.
Just so we get the source of the report in there, it's Kevin McGran who did the legwork in the Toronto Star today. He spoke with Rich Winter, who is Mark Giordano's agent, and the quote directly from McGran from Winter is, "Mark has made the decision that he's playing for a few more years. He feels very confident. He's been talking to a lot of people who tell him, don't quit until they make you."
A few more years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could he be a guy that the Leafs use in the Rich Clune role, where he is up with the big team sometimes, down with the Marlies sometimes, veteran guy, Norris Trophy winner, somebody that you use as a player coach? So maybe he draws into 25 games at the NHL level, maybe another 20, 25 games at the AHL level, but he's there and he's a mentor and he's good in the gym and he's good in the hallways. Is that somebody the Leafs could use?
Based on... Oh,
yeah,
go
you're
ahead,
roughly
Steve.
there. No, you're roughly there. I want to hear what you were going to say, Jeff.
I don't know if Gio wants that. Like, do we know if he has the aspirations to be like Jason Spezza type, where, you know, you go into retirement and then you're Robin to Dubas's Batman? You know, like, does Gio want to be the head coach? It sounds like he just wants to play hockey and win like a Stanley Cup. You know,
there are people that have said, I think I forget who said it. I otherwise I would quote it direct, that he could jump directly into coaching once.
Okay.
So
okay.
I don't.
So there you go.
That was just what I've heard, but again, I don't know that.
If that's the pathway where it's like Gio wants to be a head coach, then yeah, you stick around a club until they force you to. Even Jake Muzzin did it. Jake Muzzin works for the Leafs now because he couldn't play hockey anymore.
That's right.
So you just kind of hang around the club until your body says no, you need to pick up a whistle instead of a stick, and then you get that job. I feel like that's an easy pathway if that's what he wants to do, but I'm not sure which one he wants to take.
Steve?
Do
Do you see him on a San Jose?
No. I mean,
He'd play 82 games.
That's a waste of time if you're him.
First of all, like, I don't think he would. I think it's disrespectful to the Sharks.
Yeah.
For as bad as they were, like, here, let me try to. Oh God, Cap Friendly, I'm gonna miss you so much. Here, I'm trying to look up their team right now. Mario Ferraro. Here we go.
You should know it from the last segment.
I should. Yeah, but we weren't looking at defense. Okay. Vlasic. Is he better than Vlasic? I mean, Vlasic's pretty bad, but no. Mario Ferraro, no. Jan Ruda, no. Then you get down into like the young guys like Nikola Nijov, Kyle Burrows, probably not better than either of those guys. Kalen Addison, Henry Thrun, and Jacob McDonald are all restricted or unrestricted free agents. Like, you're telling me they don't have a kid they could put in that position instead? Like, none of those guys are like prospects. You know what I mean? The youngest name I just mentioned was Henry Thrun at 23, Kalen Addison 24.
Yeah.
Like, Giordano should be coming in and doing like a mentorship thing. Those are actually mostly like vets and old guys.
But the Leafs have guys like that. I'm thinking like a Topi Niemela, somebody that they need to take a jump.
But like Mark Giordano should be playing to win a Stanley Cup. Like he should say, whichever team I think has the best shot at winning a Stanley Cup, make the list and then go down and see which one in order wants to sign you. Fair. And then go there and just kind of sit around and be the eighth defenseman. You know? Because like
I wonder if the Rangers make sense. Look at what they did with Quick and Wheeler.
There's something. Like, I feel like that's a great idea. If they're willing to do that, go be the eighth D there.
I've heard dumber ideas. Like, listen, like Gio.
Thank you.
No. I've heard profoundly stupider piece of shit ideas. Fucking dumb ideas. No, I'm kidding.
But barely.
No. Like, I just feel like people are gonna dump all over you. Like, Giordano, or you say like he wasn't that good last year. He wasn't that bad.
He wasn't.
He really wasn't. Like, he can still play in this league, but it's gotta be an appropriate role. And I know he's competitive. Last year, he only played 46 games. Some of that was injury, but a lot of it wasn't. I think he's going to be reasonable about not playing every game.
And Berube relies on guys like that in the dressing room, by the way.
Yeah. And like, I think Toronto in recent years has become a safe place to play for guys who want to extend their career. The Leafs have actually had a pretty good track record of that. Joe Thornton.
That's a shame.
I mean, well, Joe Thornton.
I'm mad about the Joe Thornton thing because of that Amazon.
Played on the damn top line.
Yeah,
I know.
You know Thornton, what I mean?
Marlowe, Spezza, Gio. Like that.
And then he got another year out of it.
Yeah. That's the all-star team of old guys in recent memory for the Leafs, right?
Yeah, Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
All those guys. Wait, so sorry. Say those names again.
Thornton, Spezza, Marlowe, Gio.
So all three guys who aren't Gio, because that's still up in the air, parlayed their job with the Leafs into their next job. Thornton played on the Panthers after the Leafs. People forget about that.
Yep.
Marlowe went back to San Jose and played on the Penguins. People forget about that. Spezza was hired by Dubas, and then when Dubas was fired, he followed him to Pittsburgh.
Right.
This is a good place to end your career, or a good place to play near the end of your career. So Giordano has either already done that. Okay, thanks, Toronto. Goodbye. Or he could stick around here, end up on the coaching staff. Like Rich Clune, I feel like is lesser known outside of this market, but like that's the model. This is a guy who was traded to the Leafs, played like a cup of coffee with the Leafs. Think he might have had a goal or an assist. And then he went to the Marlies, went on a couple deep playoff runs with them, won a Calder Cup, gave a legendary speech, ended up on their coaching staff. And if rumors are true, I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, he might be getting signed by the Ducks. Like, not to play, although that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that last show?
Yeah, we
did. Yeah.
There you go.
He's
So
going to the Ducks. Yeah.
that to me is, if I'm Giordano, I'm like, okay, it'd be great to have another shot at a cup. If I really want to win the Stanley Cup, I should probably sign somewhere other than Toronto. But I could parlay this into my next coaching gig, which I could use to win a cup. I could end up on the Marlies coaching. I could end up with the Leafs coaching. I could end up, who knows? Like, and that's for your next job, the medical staff and what they can do for your body.
Yep.
To extend your career, which they've done with younger men like Tyler Ennis as well. Like that guy was finished. And then he ends up in Toronto and he extended his career.
Went to Edmonton.
Bit. Yes. I think Ottawa and Edmonton.
There you go.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, guys know to come here if the role is right. I wouldn't hate seeing Giordano back, but it's got to be reasonable and it's got to be absolutely completely dirt cheap.
And just to wrap a bow on this and correct your Rich Clune stat, he did not score a goal for the Leafs. He had 0 career goals for the Leafs in 19 games up at the big club, but he did have 7 career goals, all coming with his time in Nashville in 12-13 and 13-14. So there you go.
He assisted on someone's first career NHL goal, or he was on the ice for someone's first career NHL goal that miserable 15-16 season, and it stays a heartwarming story as long as we don't talk about whose goal it was.
Whose goal was it?
Soshnikov.
Brendan Leipzig.
Oh, there you go. You
I
don't remember the Brendan Leipzig?
don't know if a lot of people listening are like,
yeah.
Oh no,
he was.
What is that? That was a huge story.
Yeah, I know, but I think a lot of people would have forgot that.
Yeah,
that's a reasonable thing to forget.
10 years ago.
No,
that wasn't
the Leipzig thing. It was like 7 or 8. That was pre-pandemic.
Did you just
Steve.
say
It's a while ago.
15, 16? Oh, I guess 8 years ago.
Goal. Yeah, the goal, but not the controversy that.
Still, I think a lot of people forgot it. But
yeah,
it's ugly. It's
lucky them.
I do remember Steve being very upset when Vegas claimed Brendan Leipzig. He's like, "What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing?"
Yeah, that was a bad take.
See, it's okay. We can move past it. Now, I do want to, Jesse, you brought something depressing to the show to start it. This has just come across my desk, and I thought it was important that I bring this up.
It came across Jesse's desk too.
Linus Ullmark might be on his way to Ottawa.
Well, you're sharing a desk.
Linus Ullmark might be on his way to Ottawa. Can you just let me get the story out? Take everything I say literally. All right. It came across my computer screen, which is on my desk.
Steve, do you have a good dad joke that you've been working on the last couple of days? You've been good with those in the studio lately.
Yeah, you have been.
Like Maddie says something, you got a zinger back that's like a bad dad joke.
Let me think.
Okay. Prepare it, and then don't listen to Adam. Anything he's saying, just think about that.
Okay.
Linus Ullmark did a interview with the Leafs Nation, and he said, "I was surprised."
What?
Linus Ullmark did it. Yeah.
Oh.
And he said, "I was surprised that they kept Samsonov in net for that many games against us in the playoffs."
What?
And he followed it up with, "When Woll was in net, it felt like more of a challenge."
What day is it?
Well,
why are we doing this on June 21st?
I just wanted to know what Steve yelling the puck, and I'm assuming that's the game Linus Ullmark's talking about. I want to know what Steve's thoughts on that were. On that one quote.
Here's the thing. We talked about this, and I guess we got to revisit it. Okay. Do you know how reactionary and emotional it would have been to take your starter who gave you very good starts for 4 months straight
Mhm.
to take him and be like, you know what? The final 2 garbage time games of the season were bad. We're taking you out. And we're putting in Joseph Woll, who's shown us nothing since coming back from injury. Like, do you know how emotional and reactionary that would have been?
Right. But you did watch the first 3 games of the first round.
So 3 games was too much. And it is worth noting that Samsonov turned into, after 4 months of being really good, 3.5, 4 months of being really good, turned into a pumpkin. Turned into a damn pumpkin. And Joseph Woll, it turns out we should never doubt ever again, unless there is less than 2 seconds left. Oh, life is pain. Life is just constant pain. The Leafs, here's what we'll never really know is between those games at the end of the regular season game, I think it was like 80 and 82 or something like that. And games 1 and 2 and 3 of that Boston series and 4. I think he played 4 as well. Here's what we'll never know is what were the conversations like? What were the conversations and did they involve, hey, he clearly doesn't have it?
Well, they certainly did after the way Brad Treliving spoke about him at the press conference, right?
Well,
he's like, yeah, his contract's up, won't be back. Like
they booted him out the door with all 5 toes.
I don't know
with their words.
If the Leafs had got to the second round, I don't think Sammy and for them to get to the second round, Woll would have had to have been healthy. So 2 things have to happen here.
Yes.
They got to win Game 7, and Woll doesn't go down at the end of Game 6.
Yes.
Sammy would have never played on the ice unless Woll got injured in the second round ever again.
No chance.
They were done with him at that point.
No chance. And like I called it accurately after Game 4. I was like, that's Ilya Samsonov's last game as a Leaf, unless Woll gets hurt. Me and my big mouth. You know, but like the Leafs had such a close eye on Samsonov for so long, and they managed that situation so well. And it's disappointing because they knew what Samsonov not having it looked like. And they didn't make the decision quick enough. Isn't this the recurring theme? Is they identify a problem, they don't act on it, the problem persists, and then they lose.
Well, because
that's this team's MO. That's what they do.
But that was their ethos as well, right? The ethos was, well, no, we're right, and the process will take care of it. The process will yield results eventually. They kept to the process that kept yielding shitty results, and they kept saying, no, the process is fine. There's nothing wrong with the process, right? It's the score takes care of itself. No, don't believe what's ahead of you. Don't be like, I understand the Leafs not wanting to be too reactive because previous Leafs administrations were too reactive. It was too quick, and you get Rask for Raycroft when you do that.
No, it's
okay.
It's that scene. It's that scene from The Office where Dwight drives into the lake. But the thing says there's a road here.
Exactly. So they almost
drive into the lake.
The pendulum swung too far, and they ignored the very real evidence in the playoffs. Which in the playoffs, you do have to be a little bit more reactive. You do have to be a little bit more like, does this player have it? Does this player have it?
Edmonton was reactive.
Oh, yeah.
Edmonton was reactive. They went to Pickard.
And he played well.
And now look at Skinner.
Yeah. Well, and they pulled Pickard after a loss by 1 goal. And Skinner had been a sub 800 save percentage, and they put him back in. Vancouver was up in that series. People forget that. That was ballsy, man. Ballsy move.
Oh, I know. And now Skinner's got me convinced he's just straight up a good goalie. Like
he's gonna backstop Team Canada to the gold medal 2 years from now.
I can't wait.
He's probably the front runner. Like, I don't know if you guys got anybody else I put ahead of him, but he's the number 1 goalie for Team Canada right now.
I think you're right on that.
I don't know if you noticed, but at the World Championships, Canada had 3 goalies. 2 of them were from the Blues.
Yeah. It's probably like Skinner Binnington 1-2 right now.
Dude, who was it? I'm
At
trying
least
to think.
We'll win the tournament based on fake punches. I can't
Bennington,
wait.
Hofer, and
I don't know who their third goalie was.
it was like the third goalie for the Devils or something. Like who is it? John Gillies? I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's not good.
it's not good.
Not a great situation. Anyway, we're getting far away from it. I don't know how we got here because Sammy's Russian, Wool's American. How did we get here?
You took us here, but anyway.
I know.
I love you, buddy. I'm just giving you shit.
I know.
My point is, I just found that quote very interesting. Found that quote very, very interesting. That even Boston were like, really?
Sammy? Okay.
That's when you're
Sure.
when your opponent's saying it, you gotta go, oh boy, that's we're in a rough spot. Rough spot. And that's why I am curious about this Laurent Brossoit thing, which seems like it's gonna happen. Because he's been the first guy out of everybody's mouth since the season ended as a great fit for the Leafs. And apparently he wants to come here and kumbaya, and that's great. Laurent Brossoit has never played more than like 35 games in a season. Joseph Woll has never played more than like 30 games in a season. So is Martin Jones going to play another 20 games? And if that's the case, are we good with that? It's the Carolina model.
It could be worse. I would like a better situation.
Like what?
I'm happy with Brossoit. I think Brossoit Wool is a pretty good tandem that can win you a couple of rounds.
Okay.
Like I'm not fussed about that.
I was more talking about I thought you were talking about Martin Jones. By the way, the agent for Laurent Brossoit, Ray Petkow, who, if I'm not mistaken, yep, that's James Reimer's agent.
What does that have to do?
He represents mostly goalies.
Oh, he's just a goalie guy. All right.
All right.
Mr. Goalie.
Eric Comrie, Laurent Brossoit, James Reimer, Martin Jones. He also represents Martin Jones. Very interesting.
Can we get
Aaron
a package
Dell,
deal? Like a Costco buy?
Honestly,
Bulk.
maybe. And Zane McIntyre. He has also Connor Hellebuck. Holy crap. This guy he does goalies, man. This guy loves a goalie.
And Steve, to answer your question from before, Nico Dawes was the third goaltender on Team Canada's World Championship team this past spring. New Jersey Devils goaltender Nico Dawes.
Yeah.
Dawes, Bennington, Hofer.
Let's go.
Let's go Skinner.
Let's go.
I'm not fussed about Brossoit. I think if they go into the season with Brossoit and Wool, I'm happy with that tandem. Somebody will figure out how to play 41 games, and the other guy will figure out how to play 41 games.
Wool's got to be this.
fine.
This has got to be Wool's year to go and take it, though.
Yeah,
I actually think he is the starter.
If one more time this guy goes down with an injury, I'm going to start labeling him he's injury prone. Like I need a healthy Joseph Woll season one of these years, and it's got to be this year.
Yeah. And here's the problem: if they go in with this, and Brossoit is average, and Wool gets injured, and Martin Jones turns into a pumpkin, we're talking about a goaltender trade midseason. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
It's possible.
They could just try to solve that now. It's clear that they see it as a weakness with Markstrom available. Do they they must call Nashville about UC Saros. They must just call and say, hey, what would it cost? Just so we know. Like, what if it costs nothing?
You know what Saros isn't? 6'7", 222 pounds every time he takes the ice. Dennis Hildeby. I wonder if he plays games this year.
I hope he does. Yeah, you're right.
Go on.
6'7".
6 foot. He's
Holy.
friggin' huge. He's a very large lad. He 913 save percentage for the Marlies last year and a record of 21-11-7.
All right, let's talk about the Oilers and Panthers. When the Stanley Cup Finals are done, I foresee one thing. I foresee us all laying by Steve Dangle's pool in the sunshine, letting it all hang out with shady rays.
Adam's been talking about your pool a lot lately, Steve.
I know,
feel like
man.
I can't
It's
tell you.
over.
Listen,
Damn.
you don't want to have a pool. You want to have a friend that has a pool, and I have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Adam has the best thing. I'm screwed. I got to clean it.
Yeah. Do you clean that every day?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, I do.
Every day he's got to
damn
clean
day.
that every single day. And diapers. But he wears his shady rays while he does it.
Yeah, do you clean your pool with shady rays on?
You must.
Yeah. Oh, and shirt off. Got to give the wife a treat. You know?
Do we get to see the barrel right now for Shady Rays?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not.
Barrels
That's
out
the
for Shady
premium
Rays?
package. No, absolutely
Hey,
not.
listen, Jesse,
And
there's a
what
reason
barrel?
he's got 2 kids, you know?
What barrel?
And listen, if you have a couple kids and your shades happen to go missing, or maybe they take an unexpected hit, maybe from a dog with an errant snout
Do you
across
think
the
we
nose.
could get Shady Rays to allow Steve to model the sunglasses shirtless on their website?
I feel like it would
Stop
sell a
getting-
billion. You know, there's
Everyone's been
300,000 people that have rated this 5 stars. It would be a billion after.
Yeah.
Everyone's been asking me to take off my clothes lately, mostly my socks, and I'm not going to do it.
So if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't worry. They've got the most insane protection on all eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or stolen. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. Go to shadyrays.com and use the promo code SDP for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Again, it's shadyrays.com. Promo code SDP, 2 or more pairs is what that applies to. So you can have your daytime shades, you know, your outside shades, you're cleaning the pool shades, and then you're going out on a hot date because maybe you need kid number 3, right, Steve?
Adam, shut up and put your trunks on. All right?
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, let me say this. If your favorite team is out and you're feeling down about it, or, you know, something more important, you can be matched with a therapist in 48 hours or less with BetterHelp.
You know what I'm watching lately?
What are you watching?
Reruns of The Sopranos. And I didn't realize how far ahead of the times Tony Soprano was.
Why is
He's
that?
sitting there with Dr. Melfi in the therapist's office. And that's
Hey, what
like
a modern man.
late 90s, early 2000s. And that is a mob boss who admitted through like brute force, and he gets very angry and he does a lot of bad things to a lot of people through this endeavor. But he went to therapy and he eventually realizes he needs it. You know, by midway through season 1 and all through the series, actually, he admits to himself, like, I need to talk to Dr. Melfi about all of my issues, you know?
Yeah.
And like, we've come a long way from when The Sopranos was on air and all that stuff, but like, it still holds true, you know?
And it's also true of the 1999 movie, Analyze This, starring Robert De Niro and Billy Crystal. As Billy Crystal is the therapist, and Robert De Niro is just like The Sopranos is a mob boss.
I've never seen
Well, maybe you should. It's like The Sopranos.
I don't know why, but I saw that movie in IMAX. That is
What?
You saw it in IMAX?
I don't even know why it was available
You
in
are
IMAX.
charged to analyze this? It's so
When
much more
did this come out?
And it's the
A
same.
very long time
It's
ago.
literally the same thing. Mob boss goes to therapist in late 90s.
Oh, wow.
Literally,
okay.
that's why I brought it up. It's the
Oh,
same
wow.
thing.
Okay.
Adam, what's the promo code, bro?
Well, the
Like,
promo code is SDP at betterhelp.com/STP. It's 10% off your first month. A better deal than Tony Soprano got. It's BetterHelp, HELP.com/STP. Does the series end tonight, gentlemen?
yes, the Oilers win it in 6.
No, do the Panthers win tonight? I mean, this is in Edmonton. You got the psychological edge. You know when a team is like, when it's that loud in a building, that players sometimes have a hard time thinking. They have a hard time focusing because it's so loud for the opposing team. Can Florida get it done tonight? Because there has to be a little bit of doubt within the Florida Panthers locker room at this point. There has to be a little bit. You'd be crazy. You'd be not human if you didn't. They'll never admit it, but there's got to be a little. Like, what if we came this far and screwed this up?
Here's what I'm trying not to do. It's the jaded man is me. The jaded man in me is at a constant war with the naive little boy.
Okay.
The naive little boy wants to believe that the Edmonton Oilers can do the magic thing and win this game in 4-7 and do something no one's done since 1942. The jaded man in me is, you've seen this movie before, where a team was down 3-0, forced game 6. You really let yourself start to believe that magic was happening, and then they killed them in game 5. In fact, there is someone on the Oilers who was a part of the 2012 team, the 2012 Devils, that was down 3-0 to the Kings and forced Game 6. Do you know who it was? They even scored a goal in one of those games, games 4 and 5, where they stayed alive.
From the Devils.
From the 2012 Devils, they are on the 2024 Oilers.
Adam Henrique.
Adam friggin' Henrique.
That's right.
That is who it was. He scored what would be it would end up being the game-winning goal of game, let me look, 4, forcing Game 5. Then they win Game 5. They go on to Game 6, and you go, are the Kings really about to screw this up? Are they really about to screw this up? The Oilers could be fantastic. They could be unbelievable. McDavid could be the best player in the world. And it's still so damn hard to win 4 straight games against anyone, let alone one of the best hockey teams in the world. Win or lose, the Florida Panthers are one of the best hockey teams in the world.
Yes.
At worst, they're 2.
Yeah.
And the Oilers are going to have to beat them 4 straight times? There's a reason this is near impossible to do historically. So the easy money or the smart money is on, you're not able to find Cinderella just because you asked everyone to try on the shoe. The easy money is on the Florida Panthers crush souls and dreams and win this thing. But again, the naive little boy, he keeps saying, but what if? But what if? Like the McDavid narrative is so fun. At this point, I'm just cheering for 7 because it's the most fun option.
Okay. Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, no, Steve nailed it there. Like you wanna see the miracle happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's truly impossible to get this thing to Game 7 and then to win in Game 7. And for on one end of the ice to have the greatest player of this generation be the one to do it.
Oh.
Like you're kind of in your heart, you're like, as a sports fan, you're like, I want to watch that game. Like that'll be a fun game on Monday night if it goes to 7.
Yes,
all that
of
stuff.
course.
But logically, you're like, okay, they're not going to beat these guys 4 times in a row. So you might as well keep picking the Panthers because they're going to win one of these 4 games. So you kind of sit there and you're like conflicted and you don't really know which way it's going to go, but you're kind of leaning towards eventually they do it.
You know why I'm leaning Oilers tonight?
Mm-hmm.
More than just
You're
they're
a
at
bum.
home. Yeah, because I'm a bum.
And they're at home, which is a huge factor.
More than just at home, though. They finally
Yeah.
figured out the Evander Kane situation, which is he can't play. And
you think it's that simple?
I do think that's now they won games with him in this series, but I think that it was where they won 1 game with him in this series, right? The first game that they won, which is Game 4. I think that that's a big deal. I think finally admitting, you know what, really good guy for us. We can't put him in. He's not effective. Corey Perry comes in. He's a factor. This is where he should be a factor. This is why you got him in the first place. As much as it all comes down to, did Connor score? Did Leon score? Did Zach score? Did Nuge score? I get it. When you figure that stuff out and you have a player who's now off the starting lineup, going to be sitting in the press box, you can now formulate your game plan around guys that actually can, because they're healthy enough, get it done. Like Evander Kane's very clearly extremely injured. He's not playing like himself. And I think that running a game plan through him where he couldn't be effective, it actually limits you because it takes chances away from other people. Now, one other thing that I would say that the Oilers, if they win tonight, I think it's going to be because of Leon Draisaitl. He has not scored in this series, and he's going to score in this series, right? Has to score in this series, right? So if he is, kind of has to be tonight. And
I think one of 2 things is going to happen. And it's going to be I think you're along the right lines, Adam, in the something has to give. Either Draisaitl finally busts the slump, or the Oilers' depth scoring, which has been miraculous, disappears. Note that Connor McDavid scoring is the free space. I'm not saying that's going to dry up. Because why would you bet against that? That's foolish.
Mhm.
That's stupid. But all these guys have been getting their first, second, third goal of the playoffs for the Oilers in the series. That dries up and Draisaitl doesn't bust through. Oilers lose. Draisaitl busts through and that dries up. It's 50-50. They both continue to scoring. The Oilers 4-7, and we get on another very long flight. I feel like, apart from Evander Kane and Corey Perry and that swap and everything, the line that I was fawning over so hard for Florida was Lusterinen, Lundell, and Tarasenko. They look completely overwhelmed right now, and they were the screw up line for the Panthers. They would just go out there, rag the puck, get you to screw it up, get you to do something stupid, frustrate you. The Oilers have completely flipped that on its head with Henrique, Brown, and Janmark. That line's ridiculous. It's chaos every damn time they're out there. So I just have such a difficult time picturing the Oilers losing on home ice after watching them completely dominate in Game 4.
One thing that's kind of getting lost in the shuffle is Sergei Bobrovsky. And because he stole game 1, like he's the entire reason that they won that game. Yeah, you can throw in 3 too. And we kind of forget that he has that ability because of how the last 2 games have gone, and that it hasn't been the greatest on his end. But there's not really a lot of blame in the 8-1 loss. He got pulled fairly early. And last game, there's a couple really bad defensive lapses by the Panthers. But Sergei Bobrovsky can just turn it back on. In one of these 2 games, and there's always got to be that possibility. And just to correct you, Adam, Evander Kane only played in games 1 and 2.
Oh, he did. Okay.
So yeah, he's missed since game 3. He hasn't been there.
Then
and they lost.
More supported because they're not running the game through him anymore. You see, genius.
Yes.
Me.
Yes.
Genius.
It kind of felt like at the beginning of the series, they're like, give us everything you have left. And after game 2, they were like, thank you for your service.
Yeah, that was the game where it was like a -3 and.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good. Yeah.
And like, bless him. Like it's not because he's bad at hockey. We know he's very injured.
Yes.
And has been all season.
Yeah.
I think he left it all out there. That was all he had to offer.
Both storylines, whichever way this series plays out, is the most fun thing ever.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I think Florida winning is a lot of fun. It'd be cool to see Florida get that cup and the magical run they've been on after losing last year and getting back there. And then you anoint Tkachuk and the Calgary connections and them making that trade and it leading to a Stanley Cup and all this. And Barkov
the ultimate
getting
Calgary revenge. Yeah. Right.
Barkov getting a cup, Bobrovsky getting a cup. Like, it'll be so cool. And then if Edmonton does it, it's the ultimate comeback and one of the best comebacks we'll see in pro sports history.
Ever,
and McDavid getting his Stanley Cup in this way. Like, either way, this is going to be a fun ending to this series, however it ends.
I wanted to ask you guys this because I think it's important. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussion online lately. Everybody from Steve Dangle to Larry Brooks to a whole bunch of other people mentioning that the season's gone on too long. And I don't think you'll get a lot of disagreement here. I think it's gone on too long. We're seeing major trades during the Stanley Cup final. It's exhausting. But I saw people say that the season's gone on too long and the finals haven't been good. And that,
what
I think is I think if you're not, because to me, that's just you're not watching. Right. No. If you're not watching this final, you're really missing out.
I think the complaints weren't from the actual hockey and like the finals drama. It's the breaks. That's what I think people.
It's the travel days.
Yeah, the 2 days off in between, having that 3 times in the series and it taking too long. I saw like one thing that was pointed out that was really good was when last Tuesday's game ended. If there were to be a game 7, it wouldn't take place until 6 days later. Like game 5 was on Tuesday. Game 7 is the following Monday. And that, for I think the average fan, is a lot of time in between hockey to follow a Stanley Cup final. So the boring isn't from, I don't think, the play on the ice. I think it's from the scheduling, which leads into the first part you were mentioning, the schedule being too wonky and too long.
Yeah. And Steve mentioned it on his live stream the other night. And by the way, everybody who says this is correct. The season's gone on too long. I think the latest cup before this was like June 12th. Like it's way too long, and there's no excuse, right? This was the first normal season since COVID that we've had schedule-wise. Isn't that crazy? And we're going on this long. And the reason we go on this long is because teams really like, especially the big market teams, love selling $250 preseason tickets like the Toronto Maple Leafs for 9 games. And if you still want to run your 9-game preseason schedule, you can do that, but you could start right away in the middle of September. You can start game 1 October 1st. We had our first game after Canadian Thanksgiving. We have all these families together, captive audience, and the NHL is like, no, why would we put the start of our season on a long weekend where a bunch of Canadians are off work and not doing anything? Let's wait till after that on a Tuesday to start. That's why we're running so late. They need to start earlier, and they also don't need. You need max 3 to 5 preseason games. That's it. That's all you need. Enough. Training camp doesn't need to be a month. Like it's okay. It's all right. It'll be okay.
Here, let's figure this out. The NHL season this year started October 10th. The NBA season this year started October 24th. Exactly 2 weeks later. The NHL regular season ended April 18th. The NBA regular season ended April 14th. How did the NBA regular season start 2 weeks later and end 4 days earlier?
And I'm going to throw something in that's going to support your point and probably make you even more upset. The NBA, in the midst of all that, has an extra playoff round and an in-season tournament.
Yes.
And they were able to squeeze it all in less amount of times than the NHL played their season. And I think it comes down to the scheduling in the NHL is a little too spread out. I think it's CBA negotiated this new thing where each team gets these 6 days off. And when you even have teams like Toronto who fly out to Europe and play those games and then come back, well, you had 4 teams do that.
Yep.
They get that 6-day break in the middle of the fall there. And then they get another 6-day break outside of the All-Star break on either side. Every team gets that. There's too much downtime in the season.
Yeah,
but move the season up, or if you want it this spread out, or condense it. It's ridiculous.
But Jesse, even what you just said is at maximum, that brings them to par.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay, so the NHL started 2 weeks earlier. All right, that evens it out. You get the bye weeks and all that. That evens it out. What happened? Well, the NHL had the All-Star break. The NBA had the All-Star break. What are you talking about? And also, don't they schedule it so that the bye week for some teams matches up with the All-Star break?
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say. I think every team has that bye week coming into or out of the All-Star break, I think is pretty sure. Either you get time off in the front of it or the back of it. So I forget how it actually works, but yeah.
What happened? They both have 82 game seasons. What's going on? Even the 2-day breaks in between games during the Cup final, I think people are overreacting to that a bit. That has been a thing for a decent amount of years. And it hasn't been that big a deal. How was the NBA able to get this over with?
Well, I think the NBA can play more games in a week. The idea is that hockey is more physical, more of bash. Although the NBA is pretty vicious sometimes. I don't know.
You're also you're a pro athlete.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I get that it's difficult to play hockey, but it's also your gig.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
This is such
it's always been this way.
I know, but this is, forgive this, but this is a slam dunk. Start the season earlier, shorten the preseason.
100%.
The money that you're making from the preseason is not enough to matter. Even if each team makes an extra $1 million from the preseason, the NHL's HRR, they're probably not. But if you consider that if each game's gate is between $250 and $300,000, right, and you're not paying the players for the preseason, you don't have to start paying paychecks until game 1. That's how they look at this. That's why there's so many preseason games. The Okay, so you each team makes an extra $1 million, let's just say, after all expenses are paid. The NHL's HRR from last year to this year, hockey-related revenue went from $6.2 billion to $6.8 billion. The preseason would be such a small sliver of that it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And what was it? Larry Brooks was like, it's 90 degrees and we're still talking about Stanley Cup final games. And I'm like, yeah, man, like I am Larry Brooks.
I agree with him too. I think we're all on that. I think every hockey fan doesn't like hockey when it's 35 Celsius outside.
Yes,
like
it's the longest day of the year today, Jesse.
Yeah.
We won't get in Ontario, we won't get to darkness until midway through the second period.
Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just and in Edmonton, they won't get to it at all because Edmonton, the sun's out till like 11 o'clock this time of year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So far north.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is you're absolutely right. But my initial point was if you are not watching this finals, please watch the last game or last two games.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're missing a classic.
They're gonna set some records.
This isn't it like Anaheim, Ottawa, where Anaheim just comes in and just mops the floor with the Senators. This is a crazy, crazy finals, and this could be history making. Please don't miss it, is all I'm saying.
So here, Leafs played 5. Like just to talk about the ridiculous preseason schedule. You want the NHL season to start October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs played 5 preseason games before that date. Then
Wow.
they played 5 preseason games before the beginning of October.
Wow.
Then they played on the 2nd 2-day break, the 5th day break, the 7th, because you got to get that Leaf friggin'. How much has the NHL schedule been extended just by stretching and artificially giving the Leafs Saturdays? They had 3 in one round. How?
That's nuts.
The math.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous. Then after that Saturday, the Leafs had 3 days off before their season began.
Yep.
Dude, okay. Tell you what. Season begins on October 5th. All right?
Mm-hmm.
You get your 6th preseason game on the 2nd against Montreal. 5th, the season starts. So that gives you a Thursday and then your Saturday game. And all of a sudden, we've started the season a whole 6 days earlier. Like, guys, we don't need to still be here. And you don't need to, I see people saying silly things like, oh, you know what? Go down to 75 games.
No.
Go down to 80. Hey, yeah. Just,
no, you're not going to
guys, just light 8 digits worth of money on fire.
Yeah,
just light 8 or 9 digits.
And by the way, get the NHLPA to say, yes, we'll take less money because that's what that would require too.
Yeah. Rogers won't. Rogers won't mind. ESPN won't mind. They won't. Guys, you're getting too dramatic about this. The season has been 82 games for a very long time, and we all survived. It was fine. It was fine. And hockey was done by mid-June.
Yes. Could be done earlier, even. It's all.
Yes.
Could be done earlier. Yeah, I agree. And
like,
and honestly, like here's the thing. That Four Nations Cup, I wonder where that puts the Stanley Cup next year.
And the Olympics.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because the Olympics are 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You have to start earlier. You have to.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they do. We're gonna find out
training camp
because we're gonna get the schedule within the next week.
The Utah's preseason schedule is actually already out. They announced it yesterday.
When do they finish? That's what I'm interested in.
Utah's preseason schedule goes from September 22nd through October 5th.
Oh my god.
They're playing 7 games.
So we know the season. Okay, so 3 days.
4 of those games, they don't know where they're playing them.
What do you mean?
Oh,
hilarious.
Those are just away games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we know the NHL season is starting no earlier than October 8th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
that
more of this shit. That's still a week earlier.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a week early. A week earlier probably solves this problem. Right?
Yeah.
A week earlier, and we're like, all right, it's a little long, but whatever.
Yeah.
This is silly.
Yeah.
This is like Edmonton wins tonight. We're going to the 24th. The scenario that I've been laying out for over a month is an Edmonton win away from taking place. Game 7 on the 24th. The buyout window opens for 48 hours. So 25th, 26th is going to be friggin' mayhem. Day off. 28th is the draft. 29th is the draft. Day off. Free agency.
So
we're not going to see our families for like a week.
This year, Adam Wild,
I'm ready.
you don't want the NHL to start on Thanksgiving at all, because Thanksgiving's October 14th.
No, I want them to start pre-Thanksgiving.
You want the week before this year. We want hockey to already have had a Saturday night on Thanksgiving weekend.
What is the previous October Saturday?
It is
October 5?
The 12th. What is that?
What is it? October 5th is the first Saturday?
The 5th, yeah. So the 5th. So I think ideally this year, just looking at the October calendar, it starts that Monday, October 7th. The NHL season would start. If that, hopefully they can do that. Based on the preseason schedule of the Utah Hockey Club, it's possible. Like maybe they start the 8th, and maybe it's Wednesday night hockey they start with. So on the 9th, maybe somebody plays on the Tuesday on the 8th, and then everybody kind of gets going on the 9th. That'd be ideal, because I think you push it back to that week. Maybe we get a June 15th Stanley Cup instead of a June 24th.
Right.
Yeah, he is.
That'd be cool.
By the way,
nice.
why do we have to have the draft and then 3 days later free agency and all that stuff?
Draft should be middle of June.
Yes, should be right after the finals. Right after the last day of the finals.
No. I think that's a little
No, not like the day after.
Can you imagine?
I mean, like a couple of days. Give them a couple days.
You should have like
because it is going to be like a couple of days.
It's got to be
the cup winning team just all has their ties on their head.
Yeah.
they're ripped hungover.
It's Stanley Cup 1 week, next week draft, next week free agency.
Thank you. That's
over a 3-week period, you spread those three things out throughout June, and you lead up to July 1st. But NHL, they need to get this together.
I don't know if this is out there, but someone with the Leafs confirmed to me that the preseason schedule comes out on Monday.
There you go.
Yeah, because they're starting to announce them.
Couple of things to mention before we go to a press conference here. First off, Elvis Merzļikins asked for a trade from the Columbus Blue Jackets, and who could blame him? However, in an interview with Don Waddell and Aaron Portzline, Don Waddell was quite candid and said, let's be honest, nobody is going to trade for that contract. Nobody. So they're going to have to make that work. That's pretty... That's... Wow. That's some honesty, though, that the Columbus Blue Jackets need internally. We need a little more honesty from that group. I like this.
Golly, though.
Hell of a start.
Tough.
So I think that's a challenge to the goaltender. You're going to have to be better. Otherwise, nobody's trading for you.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like, I mean, you know what ship has sailed, I think, is the solution that seemed to make some sense for a while, which was some sort of deal revolving around Elvis Merzļikins and Jack Campbell. There's no reason for the Oilers to do that. There's no reason.
There's no reason for the Blue Jackets to do that. At least Merzļikins plays at an NHL level.
Well, yeah. There was a time where you could have made it make some sense. There's no reason to do that. Like at this point, you might be looking at like a Peterson, like a Cal Peterson.
Oh God.
I don't know. Like, or, and we've done this many times over the years. We've said, hey, what if that player just got good again?
That's what I'm thinking.
And it's the only way. It's the only way forward. Would Merzļikins be so bad if the team in front of him wasn't hot garbage?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, same thing with John Gibson in Anaheim. Is he good or is he bad? I don't know. Anaheim's been terrible for so long. It's hard to tell.
Complete hot garbage. That team's supposed to do anything? The Blue Jackets?
No, they're terrible.
They're brutal. By the way, did Chinakhov sign an extension?
Chinakhov did.
Show?
That was going to be my next point, but Chinakhov did resign. Oh. Yeah, so...
Sorry, no, because I just went to their cap-friendly page and I went, what?
Yeah, he signed an extension, 2 more years of Chinakhov, and so that's Don Waddell's first move as general manager to resign him, which is good.
Like, I'm looking at their center situation. Not on. Like, what are they? Jenner can play... Like, these are the guys listed as center on cap-friendly. Boone Jenner, Sean Corrali, Justin Danforth, to give you a taste, Gavin Brindley, Adam Fantilli, who's a child. Brindley's a child too. They're both 19, and Cole Sillinger, who's 21.
Wow.
who's the graybeard of the group. Like, I kind of think back to when we had Jason York on and he talked about the Senators, and he was talking about their center situation, and he's like, dude, they're all kids. It's good to have youth, but that's an important situation that not a lot of teams have exclusively young players in those roles. The Blue Jackets don't have exclusively young, but it doesn't help when you're also not good.
Yes.
That's a big problem for them. We kept looking at their back end and we're like, hey, that's somewhat improved, but defense is a team concept. If your forwards don't know what they're doing and your head coach doesn't get a training camp because you're dumb and the thing that we all knew would happen happened. I think people are going to be surprised by the Blue Jackets a little bit. I don't necessarily think they'll be in playoff contention, but I do think it's very difficult.
No,
it's difficult for their season to get much worse.
No, don't buy into that this year. We all did that last year.
Yeah, we did
in our previews.
We did.
Don't do it again,
We did.
Steve.
No,
Yeah, you know what?
You need to show it, man.
You know what?
Show it.
They're not going to be good.
Yeah, and you know what? If they are, bully for them, but I'm not betting on it.
No, if they're great, like all hats off to them. But
Happy to be wrong.
Yeah, no.
Like what you're
They're gonna be
asking,
last.
what you're asking Elvis Merzļikins to do is like give playoff like game stealing performances in November. Like the team in front of him has to help a bit.
Yeah.
And they're just brutal. So I don't know what he's supposed to do.
The LA Kings have redesigned their logo. And the funny thing about this logo is that it actually leaked the day before they officially released it, because when Pierre-Luc Dubois was traded, the LA Kings put a logo on it and said, thanks so much, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Instead of just putting their old logo on it and waiting a day, they have now put out the new logo, which looks a lot like the 80s logo, with the exception of the crown. The crown is now different than the one that Gretzky wore. If you look at the crown at the bottom, that crown is the 70s, early 80s crown. The purple and blue, purple and yellow color. The Lakers colors, essentially. They did a full logo redesign. As usual, they did like an explainer on the no one cares, but they did the explainer on it. I like this logo a lot. I still like purple and yellow a lot better, and I feel like this logo with a purple and yellow sweater would have been sick. But they seem to be they're a black and white team, and they're gonna be black and white. Damn it, they didn't get those shiny helmets for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you would have had to have shiny purple, shiny gold.
Exactly.
The Golden Knights already have shiny gold. They've cornered the market. No, I really like it. I think it's hilarious that it leaked on the Dubois goodbye thing, which, let's just call it what it is. They didn't need to do that.
No,
I don't think there weren't fond feelings.
Yeah.
That wasn't a sincere thank you.
Yep.
That was more of a beat it.
There are so few purple teams that it would have been cool to see them go with purple.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I really like this logo.
I
can't complain about it.
The other thing I want to say is they've always got that third jersey spot.
Yeah.
The LA Kings jersey logo since 2011 has been that LA with the mid-90s
the
crown.
worst ever logo ever.
It's minimalistic and crap, and it's a shame that they won a cup with that logo, because that logo sucks. And that logo has always sucked. And you know what? We've never given it enough shit. It's not as bad as the Oilers oil slick or the Buffalo slug or everything that the Dallas Stars have worn since, I don't know, 20 years ago, or even the most recent Anaheim Ducks, but still really bad. Like top 5 worst, I think. Top 5 worst. Has to be.
How dare you? That beautiful navy blue Oilers jersey is on that desk right now.
I know.
I can see it.
So bad.
The Oilers got some bad jerseys.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I don't know. It's just the logo just stinks, right? It's boring.
No, the Oilers one that really sucks is the Comet one.
Yeah. Isn't that the oil slick?
Yeah,
Isn't
that's the same
I
one.
think that's what it's
No, there's a couple different versions of it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's garbage.
Garbage.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this? Because I was thinking this with the Kings logo.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have the crown, like there's a unique opportunity for like jewels on it. And the reason I bring up jewels is, what do you think of NHL teams doing a soccer style thing where they have a nod to the amount of championships that they've won.
Oh, I love that. The Leafs have that on their jersey. They have on the branches in the leaf.
Oh yeah,
there's 13 little veins on the leaf
Are they going
for
to
their
add
13
a vein?
cups. I would
Next
hope.
season?
I hope they left room.
why not?
Next
Maybe
season,
that's why they don't win. Is they let's not mess with the logo.
No,
Yeah, boy, that
a couple,
Leaf's looking real spacious.
a couple of different
Yeah.
teams would do that. I know Ohio State, their stickers on their helmet, I believe, are those little stars that on the Ohio State football team. Those are for like their championships. I'm pretty sure that's what that's for.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a good
Love
idea.
it, Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I would like to see more teams try that. But you never know. Like Oilers win this cup. Like they could do a redesign where like what would this be? Their 6th cup? They could do something with that.
Yeah. I think so.
It's just an idea.
It'd be cool.
Just an idea. Or Florida gets like a little star or something like that, or a slash. They do a claw mark for every cup win. Something like that. Or they add a claw.
Mhm.
I don't know. Or, the Panther has a ring on one of its claws. There you go. That's what you do.
There you go.
The Ohio State stickers, just before people from Ohio yell at me, it's to depict Buckeyes that are awarded to players for exceptional play. So they're not for the championship.
Oh,
They're
okay.
for like good plays and stuff. Like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Go
My
on.
bad.
The Vegas Golden Knights have told Anthony Mantha that he will not be back. He's a restricted free agent, so they may not qualify him. I think that's how we're supposed to read this. Anthony Mantha, who was traded to the Vegas Golden Knights and had 10 points in 18 games for them after being traded from the Washington Capitals. He's coming off of a 4-year, $22.8 million. The Caps retained 50%. This is a player that surprisingly had 23 goals last year, which was a career resurgence for him. And 44 points in 82 games. No, not 82, 72 games. This is seems like a reasonable second line, third line guy. Anthony Mantha, though, has never panned out to be the guy that everybody thought he was going to be. Is that what's holding him back? Is it the draft position? Is it the money? Like, why hasn't this? Why would Vegas not be like, well, I guess the qualifying's high.
Well, that's the
hurdles
problem.
coming
I don't
in.
think Vegas can't afford him, but they gave up a 2nd and a 4th for him for not a ton of service. That's tough. But I mean, that's the game that they play, right? So,
Yep.
Hard to
That's a
feel
lot.
hard to feel bad for him, but like that didn't work out so good.
No.
It's a lot to just throw out the window.
It's slightly wild that Dubois is coming in Washington and basically being like Mantha replacement, and they could also just get him. They
Anthony
could just
Mantha?
go out they could just get that player back.
Probably
if
for
you really
less.
wanted. Maybe. Then Dubois. I think maybe it's possible, Adam. You might be onto something there.
Can I give you what
yeah.
Anthony Mantha was traded to the Washington Capitals for?
Dude, that's
Wasn't it-
crazy.
wasn't it that-
I have it in front of me.
I'm gonna read it.
Oh,
no need
damn,
to
I
guess.
didn't realize.
No need to guess. I'm gonna read it.
Steve's ruining
Anthony Mantha on April 12th, 2021 was traded to the Washington Capitals in exchange for Richard Panik, Jakub Vrana, a first-round draft pick that became Wyatt Johnston, and a second-round 2022 pick. Who is? Can you pronounce that last name for me, Steve? Dmitry
Bushelnikov?
Bushelnikov.
You did
I'm gonna
better than
say.
I can, so I appreciate that. That
Yeah.
was what Anthony Mantha was at 1 point worth, and now he's not going to be a Golden Knight.
How did that Wyatt Johnson pick get to Dallas?
I'm trying to find it.
I'm trying to figure that out. What happened there with that pick? When did Dallas?
Sure.
I know Dallas and Detroit have made a lot of deals because Nil had the. Go ahead, Jesse. Do you have it?
No,
Oh, you
I
have
don't.
it? Yeah.
No, not yet.
Because Nil
I'll tell
obviously
you in
was a
a
big
sec,
part of
yeah.
Detroit for a long, long time. But damn, like that draft pick, that's a consequential draft pick, and that would have been the most valuable part of that trade had Detroit kept it.
Oh, I got it. Okay,
You got there,
oh shit. Oh, this is not good. Oh no. So Detroit traded this pick, which was 23rd overall, and a second rounder, 48th overall, and a fifth rounder, 138th overall, to move up 8 spots
Ridiculous.
to 15th overall. They drafted goaltender Sebastian Casa, who's supposed to be good, but hasn't played yet. And also Wyatt Johnston is cracked. The picks that Dallas got were Wyatt Johnston, who's a significant part of their team now and going forward. Artem Grushnikov,
Who they just traded to the Flames for
who
Tanev.
I believe is part of the return for Chris Tanev, yes.
Mhm.
And Jack Barr, who is at Harvard University. He's a right defenseman. His numbers aren't crazy, but whatever. Doesn't matter. If it was Wyatt Johnston alone, you would have kicked ass
Wow.
in that deal. Ooh.
Could you say that really costed the Red Wings?
Hey,
Hey.
whoa!
Well, we'll see.
You shut your mouth. He had a good season. I mean, we're gassing up Dennis Hildeby for being big and having a 9-4. We're gassing up Dennis Hildeby for being 6'7" and having a 914 save percentage in the AHL. Casa is 6'6" and had a 913.
Okay. And a
this
good
past
playoff,
year
too.
for the
Had a good
Grand
playoff,
Rapids
too.
Griffins.
As somebody with virtual GM experience, I just want to talk to the real GMs in the real world and tell them that moving up 6 spots, eight spots. Yeah, 8 spots. 23 to 15. That's what the Detroit Red Wings paid to move up. Isn't worth a second and a fifth. That's too much.
Well, it's like what
for 6 fucking spots on a guy you don't know who's gonna be, what he's gonna be.
And the trade that immediately makes me think of, Jesse, is the New York Islanders Chicago Blackhawks trade from 3 weeks ago, where the Blackhawks what was that, 6 spots? Can we look at that trade again?
Yeah,
was
it's a really weird one.
And everybody's like, well, there must be a new trade coming. Nothing's happened since.
No, they just want to move
not
up.
yet.
They just needed to move up. I
And
need
they-
it.
No,
Wait,
because
where'd it go?
prospects are magic
Here it is.
beans. You don't know what a prospect's going to turn into. So you are so confident in this one guy at 15 that you'd rather lose 2 picks that are coming up fairly soon, a second and a fifth, just to move up those 6 picks to draft that guy. That doesn't make any sense.
That makes
to
no
me.
sense. None.
So the Blackhawks acquire the 18th overall pick and the 50th overall pick from the Islanders in exchange for the 20th overall pick. So they move up 2 spots.
Yeah.
The 54th overall pick. So they move up 4 spots. And the price to move up 2 spots in the first round and 4 spots in the second round is an additional second round pick, 61st overall.
Yeah, that's the same price that I guess it's Yzerman because 2021, right?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Detroit traded Wyatt Johnston away for Casa. That's the same price. Second rule, Yzerman paid a second and a fifth, and here's the fifth, just a second to move up 6 spots total.
Guys.
Like 2 in the first and 4 in the second. That's I don't understand.
That's why Kyle Dubas trades down, man.
Every
get it.
single time, if I'm the general manager in this situation, I want to be on the receiving end of the more lottery tickets.
Yes.
That's all they
Where
are.
do you think Lou learned that trick? That's something he learned from his internship at the Kyle School of Draft Picks.
I also, isn't there a lot of research out there now that suggests that beyond the top 5, from like pick
You don't know.
7 to pick 20 and then pick 20 to 40, there's not a whole lot of difference in total games played.
No idea.
No idea.
A 20th overall pick to a 30th overall pick, same thing.
It is.
So-
What's the big
Same thing.
friggin' difference, to
Same
quote Justin
thing.
Bourne from years ago on this podcast?
So Puckpedia, if you go to Puckpedia, which you're gonna have to pretty soon, if I'm on their page right now, if you go to the top bar, there's tools, and then third down from tools, there's Puckpedia Perry pick value calculator.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can type in the team, the round of a pick, and what pick it is, and you could trade them, and it calculates the value of the pick. So
that's
in
cool.
theory, we could trade, like I could just reverse that trade and it could tell you what the value is. I could do that live right now, or we could do something that's much better to listen to.
No, I don't think you need to do that. But that's cool that
Yeah.
that's a tool on Puckpedia. So
Yeah, so they have stuff. They have stuff.
that's neat.
They have you're gonna be satisfied with it. There just might be some growing pains, and stop whining. They're trying their best.
Okay. Should we do the press conference?
We ran a little long.
We run
so
long. We
I
shan't.
think we have to call it a Friday.
Steve, good luck on the stream tonight, my friend.
Kiss my ass.
All
No,
right.
I'm kidding. Yeah, thank you. I hope it's a fun one, and I don't know if we're gonna do another one Monday.
Cool. Great
Be the-
ending. Great ending.
Yeah.
That's a good
Oh,
Could be the last stream of the season.
Could be.
Yeah.
You got to give something to get something.
There you go.
That's not true. We're doing a draft stream, aren't we?
We're going to miss you.
Yeah, but watch a game like Steve. Different streams.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.